Hello everyone. So I kind of need some cool sparks for the center, and I kind of want to make a new vector field for that. And since I haven't talked about the Jenga effects VectorayGen in a long time, I kind of want to go over it. No, not go over it, just play around with it. I am really bad at math, but this tool really helps. So I basically want something that's really expanding, and I'm just gonna go with the flow and see what we can do. So let's just start with some preset or whatever and hopefully get something working. Let's see, let's start with just something like a constant inward rotation. Now if I click on this, then you'll instantly see something going on. And if you just look at the fade, then this is basically what the fade does. And that's actually already quite cool. So let's see what we can do with that. I kind of wanted to make it a bit more expanding instead of inverting. So maybe 100. And let's try 150 here. And now it will act like this. You can press spacebar to reset. And I kind of want to make it start from the center. So let's see what we can do with the particle settings. The spawn shape should be a sphere, but the size should be quite small. Let's say 12 or whatever. And there. And now it starts from the center and you can basically see what's going on. There. Now if you add rotate to that, then it's expanding in a rotation rate. And you can see if we can play around with that. Rotation angle is 45 degrees at the moment. We can try 90. And just play around with that. 0. So we do need some rotation. So let's say 4 or 5 on that and maybe 10 degrees on that. And that's already nice and expanding. But I kind of want to have some chaos with it. So let's do a noise. We can either add it, lerp it, or whatever. So I'm just going to add noise to that and see what it does. Sadly, noise is always quite strong, so we can play around with some of the octaves, the seeds. Amplitude, frequency, and as you can see, it doesn't do much when you add just something to it. You can multiply it, you can lerp it. Let's try multiply for now. And hopefully that does something better. No, then, I don't know, we can lerp it, linear interpolate. And as you can see, it's now doing something. And if I go to 1, it's more the noise. And if that's 0, it's more the expanding effect. Let's add just a little bit of that noise to it. And we can try something else. Let's say a constant rotation. Just like this. And now it's a nice disk for a second. But rotation is interesting, so maybe we can add that to the noise and whatever and see what that does. And now we have something that moves a bit more like this. Now we can try the coil. The coil itself already does something really cool. So let's try and multiply those first and see what that result does. And we probably have to lower the radius and strength quite a bit, and hopefully that will make it look better. Like I said, my math sucks, so I just try to play around with nodes and see if something sticks. Let's see, origin, orientation. And now we have this nice vortex, though that's not something I really want. I'm gonna remove the coil for now. Let's see what we can do with a random. Let's start from scratch. Let's add a little bit more of the randomness to it. And that will result in this. Now you might want to normalize that. And maybe want to have some curl to it. I have no idea. Guess not. Back to the normal, and let's try one of the other presets. Constant. Oh, that's an old version. Dual point retractors, dual spheres. That one isn't working. Quads results. I should really move those because they aren't working anymore. Round cube spheres nowadays just like this, which is already really cool. And it's actually something that I do somewhat want. So let's see, what if we do a subtract? And this works better if it's a very big effect. So let's say 500. Might need to be a bit smaller. 200, 200, and 200. Might get something like this, but what if we change the fade to, let's say, 200 outwards and minus 200 at the same time. Subtract those, then you get something like this. And you do need to change the spawn size again. It's always cool to see what an effect does. Okay, let's try something else. I have no idea. I'm just gonna plug around a few of the nodes and see what kind of results that we get. We could try a another random. And now you'll get something like this. Random in itself is already quite interesting, but you need to keep the subtract active and then just some random sheets. Let's say minus 50, minus 50, minus 50, 50. Number of samples, just a few. And well, I do like that movement downwards. It's a bit chaotic. We can do something else. What if we multiply instead? There we go. That's not doing much. Let's tweak these values again. Obviously this normalized looks way better, so maybe we can combine those. Another interpolate. Refresh, and it's expanding more in that kind of shape now. That's not really what I like. So let's play around with adding just a little bit of that chaos to it. And the cool thing is, if I just go to here and I'm like, this is the best result I had, I can just export the vector field from that point. But if I would like to have the random added, then I can just click on the interpolate, file, export, and now it's going to export from this point on. Let's see what else we can do. We can add things together. So let's see. This is kind of more the thing I want. So I need to change the bounding box a little bit. I think it's a bit big. So -1 to 8, -1 to 8, -1 to 8, etc. I do feel that we need some more control over this. I have no idea. Let's try something like... I do want the coil effect. That looks really cool, but it's a bit chaotic. So that's what the coil does, and it goes up. Now what if I have another coil? So can I copy and paste? Let's try the other way around, like -100. What does that do? Okay, and what if we basically try and cross that? Multiply will probably give the same result in this case. Or not. I'm just playing around at the moment. I just want to see what happens if I try and combine two inverted coils. Okay. Clamp is actually also very interesting. But the difference is that this one is really fast, and because I'm clamping the velocities, I get something that's more like this. That's actually much better. So what else can we try and play with? Let's add an additional noise to it. And now it behaves like this. There we go. Another random seed. I just often just try in some random value and see if there's something interesting that I can get. And I kind of want to play, well, actually not play, but make the noise a little bit less and keep something of the other effect together. There we go. You can try to normalize that once again. It's nice that they now have explanation of what it does. But yeah, I actually think that this is fine. And for funsies, let's try a random. Get some random seed. And actually linear interplay between those. Plug that into the add, which results in a lot more chaos, which is then interpolated. I'll try and increase that a little bit. There, and then normalized. That looks quite cool, though I might want to lower the rotation a little bit. It's kind of funny how you can tweak these to get totally different results. Now we have some weird tornado-ish thing. That looks somewhat interesting. Let's copy these, paste them here. Let's try adding them. That's way too chaotic. We might need a clamp. Nah. Oh. Not sure how I end up with a power instead of a normalize. And I could live at that. Now it's a bit more contained, which should be fine. I think we can use something like this. Could work fine for something that's an expanding explosion. So we're just gonna go to File, Export Vector Field, and I already got a few here. So I do not want to save them here. I'm gonna go to Art and Design, Vector Fields, call it Vector Field, expand helix. I have no idea. 01. And now I can import them here. So I do have a folder here. Go to import. Now I need to find that particular folder. Art and Design, Vector Fields, Expanding Helix. Now it's in here. And now I need to grab my particle system again. And for that we need this one. It's at the moment it's only a few sponsies, so let's increase that value for now so we can actually see what's going on. To something nice and high, 500 and 1200 or so. Actually 1200 and 500. Now let's grab that new vector field. Expand helix. And it's a bit chaotic and the size is totally wrong, so Let's tweak some of these values. Oh. That looks somewhat okay, though I do think we can do it a little bit better. There's a rotation rate, of course, so let's lower those and give it some more random. And there. Initial rotation, we can play with that as well. The drag is probably a bit high, but let's keep it for now. And let's play around with some of the tightness and intensity. Tightness of 0 means that it's almost not affected by the vector field, basically. So this is basically normal behavior without a vector field, and you can already increase the intensity. And the tightness is how much it wants to follow the vectors in the vector field. So now it's basically only controlled by the vector field, and that's generally not what I want. Let's try to find a nice value. Something like that, maybe. And grab something more from the sphere velocity as well. Let's say 80 for now. And maybe a better size by speed. That should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 100. Yeah, that's a bit too much, of course. I think somewhere around the 8 might look nice. 7, 6. There. I do not want this much tightness still, so let's lower that a little bit and maybe decrease the intensity. There. Now the only thing I need is a constant acceleration that adds some gravity, minus 980. And something like that could work. You can always keep tweaking them and tweaking them and tweaking them. But this is basically without any vector field going on, and maybe it's tightness of O.1, O.2. Just a little bit can go a long way. It's just for the random chaos motion. Now additionally, if you change the vector field size, that will actually affect it quite a bit as well. Let's give it an intensity of 1 for funsies, and that might be a bit too much. 20, 30. Now we have this nice outgoing spiral effect. So that was just a video of me being totally stupid with math and making a vector field. Now imagine if you actually understand basic math better than me, then you can make awesome things like very expanding helixes and whatnot. There are a few things that are interesting. Let's see, open projects. I do not want to save this one. We can try and look at a few. I think I did not make these projects, so I'm actually wondering what's going on with these. I can't really see. There we go. So this is a nice spiral effect. Let's try another one. Paint blasts, roto wash. Roto wash cleans cool. That actually doesn't exist anymore. Then I'm scared that some of the others might not load as well. Yeah, these are all quite, oh, well, actually they're tornado. Let's check the tornado one. Whoosh. And that's if you actually understand proper math. That might help with all setting this up. And this looks really cool. It just keeps going and going. Okay, one more to check. Another open project and visual noise or weird noise. Let's do visual noise. That's not that visual. Let's try the other one. Weird noise. There's actually one that I made, I think. There we go. It just needed some nice chaos that's somewhat rotating a little bit. And again, if you might like something that's before the end of the line and it looks better, then you can export from that point. So that's really cool. There we have the coil again. After normalizing, it behaves a bit more like this. Etc, etc. So, there you have it. I should probably do a better video of this at some point, where I actually show some cool helixes and whatever. Okay, that's it for now. Take care and have a nice day.